It's simple as that.
We're not talking about last year.
It's relevant because when you told me about this person, you said to me, you're not going to like it. And I don't like it because we are supposed to have at least 2 quotes in front of us. The cheapest doesn't mean the best. Last year's audit was not satisfactory. You can look at it. He said he came here, the chairman was absent, the finance committee chairman was absent, and all he did was look at the paperwork that was left on the table for him. That is not an internal audit. As a council, we should have the list of the LRAC auditors, if that's what we were going to use, because there is more than one. There are different scales for auditing, because we used to get audits where they would look at our minutes. We didn't even do that last year, because it's in the reports from previous years that we haven't minuted things properly, we haven't done our agendas properly. So at one time we did do auditing properly, but we are not doing it properly since last year. And I want to know why we're just appointing the man who did the bare minimum, which is in his report. It's not me discrediting him, which people say that I would be doing. I'm simply stating the facts which are available online, that he came in and just looked at what was presented. That's not an audit.
Well, Councillor Brookes, was it signed off?
He signed it,
then it was a satisfactory audit, was it not?
No, he said it was not satisfactory, but a member of the council said it was wonderful, so we had a problem.
But he signed it off as completed.
Yeah, but with the comment,
not yet, but
with all the comments saying it wasn't adequate.
Is it yes or no? It was done.
But we should be able, as a council, to decide what we want auditing. I've read it. This is why we get the different levels of LRAC auditors. Some will charge you £600. Some will charge you £1,000 because they will actually do a more in-depth picking. They're not going to sit there and go through everything.
That's fine, Councillor Brookes, but at the moment we've already moved past that and we're now looking at naming the individual. So
yeah, which I'm not happy with.
The point I want to make is that actually we've already decided that we're going to go ahead. We've already approved the expenditure. This is simply notifying council, as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, that this is notifying council that we are using the LRAC auditor and that he is named as steward.
But we've never approved the amounts.
I'm pretty certain we did approve it at the previous meeting.
Okay, so
correct me if I'm wrong.
We have the proposal.
I have to just make a statement here because I need to make a statement. I spoke to you on the phone, Councillor Brookes, and I said, agenda item 12, are you happy with it? Is it okay? Do you approve of it? And you said, and I know this, yes, it's fine. And you said that on the phone to me. That's what I don't
remember saying that.
You did.
The last thing we discussed was at my front door when you said I wouldn't like the person on it.
I'm going to stop that there.
Anyway, we mustn't argue in public like that.
Well, I'm afraid you do. When you say that to me and then you come in the meeting and give a completely different version.
Okay, thank you.
I may have confused the number because the numbers are wrong on the agendas lately as well.
Well, this one wasn't.
It is online. Unless it's
anyway,
been changed.
If we're going to split hairs about it.
So number 12 is still the internal auditor. I can confirm that I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, thank you.
So would you like to apologise for that piece of misinformation, Councillor?
No, because I don't believe I agreed with it. I don't believe I did. And my last memory is when the clerk delivered this to me and said, you will not like who we're appointing.
Okay.
And I stick by that. In fact, I could get the CCTV audio from my home.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, so we've got the proposal. Would anyone like to propose that then? That we accept? Thank you very much.
I just want things done properly.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ainsley. Seconder. Oh, Councillor Harris was just off the mark. Okay, all those in favour? There we are. Against? Recorded or otherwise, Councillor Brookes.
Record it, please, because we don't even know what level of audit he's doing.
That has carried, thank you.
This is an interim audit, remember?
No, this is the end of year audit. You see, that's why I think the confusion
Okay,
is
we're going on to
we
item
did
number-
approve
Councillor
a
Brooks.
financial
Councillor Brooks,
amount
that
for an
item-
interim
Councillor Brooks,
audit.
that item has gone through.
Yes, sorry, Chairman, but
Thank you, I
I think
appreciate
there was confusion.
Item number 13 then, the asset register for 2026. Clerk, do you want to say a few words
Yep.
on that?
Obviously, I've put this out. The main thing about the asset register, obviously, is significant, especially at this time of the year, is the actual value of the assets we have before us. It was pointed out to me there were some lease dates that were wrong. I've corrected those, and in front of you there's an updated version of the asset register and the accounts. So I've had feedback from Councillor Ainsley and feedback from Councillor Wadsworth. Yes, two desktop PCs, you said. So those have been addressed, and now we'll look through it again.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say it's perfect if you've got any issues on, but we've now, the one thing that has been changed since last year I need to point out to you, which is obviously the statute. I find this a tricky one, but it's been confirmed to me now twice. The Queen's statue is now worth on our asset register £1. Now obviously to Zurich Insurance I cannot put in a pound claim because that would be ridiculous, and this is why you have to be careful with these situations. The reason is it's gift aided, and if we look at Arnold Baker, they make it very clear once it's gift aided we cannot then suddenly have a £250,000 statue on our books as that's what it's worth. We can't do that in the asset register. In my Cllr training I actually asked the is this correct? And she said, absolutely. Can you explain to me why we do this? No. So,
Well, I would suggest that because we aren't going to sell it, it's not actually worth anything as an asset. However, if we were to declare this as a liability, which it actually is, then that would be a considerably higher
okay.
The
amount.
words might have melted it down. Ooh.
I think that might be a bit conspicuous.
I can't park my car for all these visitors he's bringing to Oakham.
Councillor Ainsley was first, and then we'll have Councillor Harris. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Didier. I understand this was gifted to us by RCC, if my memory serves me
Yes.
correctly. So was there a value when it was gifted?
No.
Okay.
We found a value from obviously the person who collected all the
No, but it was gifted to
Yes.
us. They didn't, they gifted us a quid.
It's a gift aid.
Fine, thank you.
Councillor Harris?
As the new boy still, I find it helpful to know what we valued these at last year and what the depreciation percentage is or how long it will be. Because to me that's just a bunch of numbers.
So my following query in that sort of vein was, are we applying a level of any depreciation to the assets that require it, and is there any appreciation or revaluations on?
Each one of them is looked at. It's obviously, as you can imagine, to give you an example, second-hand PCs, how do you value them? It's all, how much is the tennis club worth? It's,
But it also would help for forward planning. For example, if the street furniture, which is now £3,500, is depreciated at £700 a year, in 6 years' time we're going to buy some more, and then we might have a debate, do we buy some now and each of the next 3 or 4 years, rather than have one big bill. So I appreciate if we could just drop a column in which says what the depreciation rate is, perhaps, per annum.
obviously the depreciation rate is varying once again.
Obviously, yes, right.
For each individual item, yes, it will be.
Because you must have that, Chris, otherwise you couldn't come up with these numbers.
You come up with the numbers, and most commonly I'll tell you that the depreciation is updated on the inflation. So a piece of street furniture, for instance, I'll tell you, worth £1,000, goes down, say, 5–10% a year, but inflation is taking it up. So the street furniture costs more every year at the moment in this country, and anybody who's trying to buy anything will tell you that's the case. So it's you're doing two things, because
Yeah,
if
but
the
this
street
is asset
furniture,
value. This is asset value,
Yeah,
not
but-
replacement cost.
but if we
Well, what
lose
will lead
it,
us to the second?
if we lose the street furniture, we have to replace it.
Yes, I understand that. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that this is, in my experience, a two-step thing. This is the current value depreciated to what then?
Yeah, but the second hand value goes up too, for obvious reasons.
And then you will be depreciating it next year and over the coming years until it reaches zero. If it
Well,
ever
some
does.
will reach zero.
But the replacement cost is a separate matter.
Yes and no.
Any other further questions, or do you want to?
I know I've had a question, because I asked another supplementary about
Yeah.
the Queen's statue.
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm mildly confused. in that I'm happy to accept that for whatever reasons we value it at £1. But how does that work with if we insure it? Because if somebody were to go and graffiti it or, God forbid, damage it in any way, how does that work with our insurers, which is Zurich?
Presumably we would insure it for an actual value,
We-
whereas it's
yeah.
sale
Do we
value.
have a value for that?
Yes, we have, I've put a value of it, you know, obviously being it was put together of 250k.
£250,000?
Yeah, £250,000, and that is the asset value that Zurich have on it.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, I understand, and that's why I was so confused when I realised that.
No, thank you for that clarification.
Right.
Councillor Brookes?
I don't know if this is a mistake, but it says asset register ties in with insurance policy from the 1st of April 2025. Is that just not being...
In other words, the asset register ties in with what we've got with Zurich at the moment, because obviously they need to know the assets and what they're worth.
So did they base their quote on this, as it says insurance?
No, because obviously this will be for next year, not this year. We can't get the asset register in time for this.
And I understand the thing about the Queen's statue, and it is insured, and it doesn't cost us any extra on the policy.
I didn't
Check
say
that. Sorry?
I didn't say
No,
that.
but it was part of the conditions. We
Yeah.
took it on, it wouldn't cost us
Yeah.
anything, so it is. But one of the issues I had when I was looking through things was that I couldn't work out whether the bandstand, because we never claimed for insurance in ourselves when we've had serious vandalism on there where cast irons had to be reconstructed. I can only work out that the bandstand through the insurance company is being considered as street furniture, and then the clauses say that this is like street lighting and that, and the only way we can claim for any damage if it's hit by a moving vehicle. So that's an issue to me, that if there's, I don't really understand that it's been done in a way that the insurance company understands what we've got. That's why I asked, have they seen this? And it's very confusing. I'm a bit like Councillor Enzi on it. I'm a bit confused at how we get to those situations. And you said they've not seen the asset register.
Obviously, there is no significant changes in the asset register from this year to last year, as far as the assets are concerned. Obviously, the Queen Victoria Queen statue is a change, but that's because of the price we've taken. But the rest of the asset adds up to a similar total in terms of claims. Because obviously, they're given us a quote based on last year's asset register, not this year's.
And also
But next year's will be based on this.
then I'll sit down after the regalia. I don't think that's been properly valued, because we have an expensive chain, we have an old, very expensive chain, and an even older chain which we don't know the value of, so it seems quite small amount.
You are aware that the old chain that you think is worth a lot of money is just silver gilt, and therefore worth, I'm told, a few £100s.
Yeah, but it's still something we should probably be looking after in the
Yeah,
other
but-
Yeah, but it won't reflect.
No, but the gold ones, and the deputy chairman has a piece of gold as well, don't they? And there's a consort one as well.
Yes, yeah.
So there's a lot more that I think, with the price of gold going up through the roof, than that value.
Essentially, that's the value that we've got. I'm guessing it's been appropriately valued.
I think it's gone down. I remember it being higher on there.
It's gone down recently.
Councillor Harris.
I may come to regret for ignorant of this. Why are we valuing land at £1?
Okay, because the covenant restricts what can be done on it, so for obvious reasons. For instance, I'll give you an example. Roy's playing field is on a long-term lease.
Yeah.
We don't own it, we don't own, for instance, also, and what we can do with it means its value, as far as you might be concerned, in a more commercial sort of world, would be worth a lot more. We cannot do that because we have, under legislation, to keep it as a green space.
Okay.
Converting it from a green space would have to go through Parliament. Don't rub your hands together
So-
like that.
Were you, sorry,
Go on then.
Were you referring to Barleythorpe Field or the Centenary
Centenary
Field?
Field,
Yeah,
that's
because we do own, it was gifted, Princess Avenue was gifted to the.
But under covenant conditions again.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So if that's exhausted the lines of inquiry,
I don't like this.
so do we have a proposer to accept the asset register? Thank you, Councillor Wadsworth. A seconder? Thank you, Councillor Harris. All those in favour of acceptance of the asset register? Those against?
I'm just abstaining.
And one abstention. Thank you very much. Recording or otherwise?
No, I'm not worried. It's only because I don't really have anything to compare.
Sorry to close, so I was just simply going to say, because I was doing some quick research here, that actually councils value the land at because it has to be based on historic value and not the current market value.
£1.
So nominal value of £1 because accounting rules for local councils prohibit using market values and instead require a simple historic cost-based record.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ainsley. And no doubt
That
Copeland.
makes no sense to me.
There you go. Lovely. I'm not with it anyhow.
Okay, on then to item number 14, the full display contract.
Okay. I'll just take this forward. As you know, there were two contractors. Well, one of the contractors visited us earlier, was it last week? They all fly into one thing. Visited us with the operations manager, went round all of the sites. I then asked for a re-quote to make it like for like, as Councillor Brookes would say. He then sent me an email recently, in fact 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days, 3 days, which basically said they were pulling out of the tender exercise. They could not. This year, they said next year we will look at it more keenly, but this year he felt that he could not commit to giving us a valid quote on what we required. So we were left with window flowers. So as I've said before here, it's up to you as a council now. We've tried to get other people. We are now in a situation where window flowers are the only company who have a valid quote. And I can assure you that if we do not, once again, like Zurich, once again, if we do not take this contract now, we will not be in a position to get a floor display and everything else. Just impossible.
Councillor Ainsley, go ahead.
Yeah, I am also disappointed that we haven't got 3 quotes, but I recognise fully why the market, why we've only got one. It's because although supplying the plants is quite good, watering is a specialist service and a lot of companies don't do it. And so, in common with a lot of other councils, it's very difficult to get more than one quote. So we really should be counting ourselves lucky that we've got such a good competitive quote from the individual concern. And our financial regulations do allow us to have specialist contractors.
Well, if memory serves, you tried to get 3
We
quotes.
did,
They came
and
back
it's not unusual. That's what I'm
They
trying
came
to
back
point
with
out.
2 and now we're left with 1 because the other one has
got
on
turned.
so.
Yeah, so we are where we are.
So it's not for the sake of us trying to avoid due diligence, it's the fact that no one wants to do it. Councillor Brookes, your query.
Whilst I accept that there was an effort to make more than one contract, they weren't like for like, which was an issue.
Can I just interject at this point? The clerk's given a very good example now of the fact that he tried to get a like-for-like quote, and then therefore the second contractor has withdrawn.
I said when we considered it last time, they were not like for like.
Yes.
And I believe at the meeting, I remember yourself, Councillor Harris, and one other councillor were asked to go away and work with the clerk. And I've asked did that happen, because I get the impression it might not have happened. And I don't like this thing of things being left right to the last minute, and we're told if we don't agree it, we don't have it. This is happening far too often. I dug out the minutes on this contract that's just expired, and before I was on the council, a former councillor worked on the same thing because it was left until the last minute, partially to do with another councillor's sickness, but it's very clearly minuted from December 24 that in 2025, this council, if they accept using the same contractor again, that they must go out and get value for money and contracts in 2025. So there's been a whole year. I accept some staff have been off sick, but some of that time was before those issues. So again, it's left right up until the last minute, and it's not really good.
Councillor Brookes, I seem to recall that this was actually brought back in the previous, not the last, but the one before even.
Yeah.
This has been on the docket for a number of meetings, and it's
Yeah, but
just
it's
been a
not,
major.
but that's at the end, that was the last meeting that it was brought to. But it had a huge gap between December 24, when we knew the contract was coming up, which is wonderful. Tonight we talked about something else that said, you know, the insurance must get quotes 3 months in advance. Well, that should have really happened with this. And we always used to have a working group that went out and talked to people. This list that they've quoted on is inaccurate. It names shops that don't exist, shops that don't want things. And that was what I was hoping, that when the councillors were appointed, that they would go out and review that list. Some of the brackets on the walls are rusty. I don't know whether they're dangerous, but it's not been reviewed properly for many years. Because I was talking to Councillor Wadsworth this afternoon, the last councillor to go knocking on doors to see who wanted it was Councillor Hopkins. Is it Jasmine? And that is like 7 years ago.
Thank you for that, Councillor.
So
I'm conscious of the time that we're...
Yeah, so I won't be voting for this because, you know, like it says there's a basket on cancer research. Just one example, cancer research hasn't been there for 2 years. The owner of the hotel doesn't want any,
Okay, well,
but we're paying for them to go on there.
thanks. Melanie, go ahead.
Councillor Brookes, I understand what you're saying. The work that we've been doing over the last few weeks, there are a lot of improvements that are underway. There is a lot of diarisation that will be going on. So things like contracts that are coming up for renewal will have a diary marker at least 3 months in advance going forward. That's the work that we're doing. It's not going to happen overnight, and there may be a small occasion in the future where one is missed, but there is a lot of work to align processes and to alleviate frustration. So I hope that you will start to see those improvements shortly. But I do ask for patience whilst we get
Oh yeah, I do
that
get
underway.
patience. I do, but I'm looking at the document this evening, which is out of date, the list, and they've
That's
quoted on it.
Councillor Ainsley, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, I do feel that in line with what the Melanie's saying, that actually there has been a huge historical deficit in the way things have been done in this council. Strenuous efforts are being made to rectify things, and actually there is huge improvements being made already. I think, and the second thing I want to say is that I would like to thank the director of Window Flowers for taking the time to look at the budget that we had allocated and then reducing his quotation to actually fit within that budget. So I think I'd like to actually express our gratitude for that. Thank you.
So, we have the funds of the argument. Would anyone care to propose that we accept this quotation and go ahead with the contract? Thank you, Councillor Wadsworth. Do we have a seconder? Thank you very much, Councillor Nichols. All those in favour of supporting this contract? Thank you. Those against? Councillor Brookes. That has carried.
Super.
Yes, we have item number 15, which is indeed Councillor Ainsley. Would you?
Yes, I'd love to.
Would you, sir?
Yes, I'd love to. So essentially, the parking charges that were set up by the RCC and implemented on the 2nd of March this year have met some serious...
Sorry, Councillor Nichols does have...
Sorry,
did
I
notify me
informed them I
earlier.
was
That's okay.
ready to go at 1:30, so apologies.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Councillor.
Thank you.
So that.
The traders in town, Oakham businesses, are actually raising an objection letter. What's her name? Councillor Christine White is coming to actually speak to them on the Monday, and I really object to these ill thought out policies, the way I'm thinking of it, in that I'm asking the council to support the traders in their formal objection letter, which will be presented to Christine White on Monday next. Also to support the fact that we should write 2 formal objection letters as set out in Appendix A and B, one to Councillor Wise in her role as the portfolio holder for Transport, Environment and Communities, and secondly to our scrutiny within RTC to look at the parking charges afresh. The issue is simply that the 1 to 3 hour rate, which is the critical time for retailers, is increased by 25%. And additionally, I mean, this is just to pick a few, you can pick it out yourself, the annual season ticket, which traders need to actually park their vehicles when they're actually trading, has gone up significantly as well. And there are other, I've also suggested that we actually meet with RCC to discuss alternative approaches that better support the sustainability of Oakham Town Centre. It seems that we're just using these increased charges as a simple way of balancing the budget, when actually a lot more thought needs to go into actually the parking charges within Oakham. I did do a comparison for those that are interested with Stamford. Boo, do we ever really like Stamford and our competitors in both UK TOC and, no, I haven't included it, but I did do a comparison. And Stamford has a totally different model, which is called a flat short stay model. We use a stepped model, which actually means that for up to 3 hours it's significantly increased, where Stamford is lower. And additionally, as I've written here and highlighted, Oakham's jump from £1.50 to £3.70 may discourage the 90 to 150 minute dwell time that traders rely on, which has been observed in Stamford. So I recommend this paper to council.
Yes, and I'm quite happy with the appendix that you've included, and
yeah, let's hope.
In terms of the wording,
we should be supporting our traders,
if you need that.
and that's what the letters do.
Councillor Brookes.
I'm all for supporting our traders, but I don't see any point in sending this, because it's an annual thing. The council has a right to do it, they own the land, and they do it every year, and every year people moan.
So we should just accept it and not do anything, is that what you're suggesting?
But also the figures that are put before us, you've not taken into consideration that first half hour is free, and that the long stay car parks are actually cheaper. I think that the people who are asking have just given the indication of what they use, because this happened when we paid for the Saturday specials. They all come to work early, park for free, and the residents can't park. That's my opinion of it. They used to park in residential streets nearby until the council put double yellow lines. So parking's an issue, but it's, to me, Oakham's rates are not expensive. You know, if you compare it with places like Leicester and even Melton, you know, you go further out, go to London, you wouldn't get 20 minutes for that fee. You know,
personally, I beg to differ. I'm not going to quote.
Parking's expensive
I'm not
anywhere.
going to quote numbers at you.
No.
It's the last time, for instance, I parked at High Cross, I believe it was shorter than a day in Church Street, for instance. So I'm going to respectfully disagree with your assessment.
Depends where you park in myself. I park with a friend in the High Cross because it is cheaper than any of the others. But we could argue that, but we won't. But I just wonder whether they're going to take any notice. I mean, I'm going to support this to send it, but I just know that they'll just.
Well, we'll see what happens on Monday, shall we? When she's in front of the businesses.
So it seems.
So can I propose that we accept it unless.
No, go ahead, Councillor Brookes. That's a good one. Do I have a seconder? Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
I'll propose and
I
you'll be
apologise,
seconding, yes.
I do apologise.
Sorry, I didn't realise you proposed it.
What? With paper.
Anyway, so Councillor Ainsley has proposed, Councillor Brookes has seconded. Julie, all those in favour? Those against? And those abstaining? Councillor Harris, thank you. Would you like that recorded or? Yeah? Yeah, very well. That has carried. So, are you happy to? Yes.
It will make the traders meeting very interesting that she's coming along.
Send my, I'm not coming.
You're not coming?
Yes. Do you want those?
Do you want to sign?
They're in the pack in the soft copies, so.
Melanie sent the agenda out and I clicked on it and I thought, oh my God, not another town council meeting, because it's got our header on it.
Lovely. So, item number 16, we're going to have to consider in private. So, I will move at this point that we resolve to exclude press, public, and that we cease recording for this. As the information is classed as exempt under paragraphs 1, 2 and 3 of Schedule 12A, Section 108 of the Local Government Act. So I'll make, Councillor Brookes, do you want to raise that?
I
All right.
support it.
Okay, so proposed by myself, seconded by Councillor Brookes. Those in favour of exempt session? Oh, we've stopped recording already, never mind.
I'm sorry.
That's gone through.